I've had another month of setting aside all my $1 bills to put toward Christmas. I'll show you how many I've saved in February coming up next. Welcome back to Ready Budget Go. My name is Drew, and on this channel we talk about cash budgeting, saving money, and achieving our financial goals. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Today, I'm going to be unstuffing all of the $1 bills that I set aside in the month of February. I give myself $100 a week in cash to use for incidentals, mostly for meals out on days that I go to my office to work, and anything else that comes up that requires cash. So when I get $1 bills as change, I do not spend them, I save them. Even if I have to break another 20, I'll do that and save all the ones back. So I've got all of those here, and I'm going to unstuff them, and then I am going to put them into envelopes according to the letter on the front of the bills. So every $1 and $2 bill in the US has a letter here in the left-hand side, and this corresponds to the branch of the Federal Reserve Bank where the money was distributed. Not where it was printed, but where it was distributed. All bills in the US are printed by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in either Washington, D.C. or Fort Worth, Texas. But then they are sent out to the 12 branches of the Federal Reserve to be distributed into each of the Federal Reserve regions. So there are letters from A through L. A is Boston, L is San Francisco, and then all of the letters in between are for other Federal Reserve banks, and it will also tell you here at the bottom which branch it is for. So this is an F-Buck, and this is Atlanta, Georgia. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to unstuff all of the bills, and there's quite a few here, but this is an entire month's worth of $1 bills. So we'll set this pouch aside. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to sort them by the letters. So I'll move these binders off to the side for the moment, and we'll make piles. I don't think I have one from every letter, but I have most of them. So we've got a C and a D and an L and a D, another L. It's kind of an awkward angle to work at. We've got a G, an H, actually G, H, D, C, E, D, F, G, B, L, D, J, those are rare, A, D, D, B, C, D, F, D, B, A, J, B, D, D, L, L, E, L, and F. Okay, so I didn't get any I's and I didn't get any K's. That's unusual on the K's because other than L's, the K's are usually the most common for me. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so L-Bucks are by far the most common because that is the closest reserve branch to me. That again is San Francisco. K is Dallas, Texas, which is the next closest. And so I usually end up with quite a few of them. But not this month. And I can't remember where I's are. I think I's are Minneapolis, and I didn't get any of those. H's, I's, and J's are usually the rarest. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack these in order, and then I'm going to allocate them into the various envelopes that I have set aside for each of them, because what I'm doing with this money is I'm saving it for Christmas. And as Christmas comes along, I will spend out of these funds, but for now, this is how I'm choosing to accumulate money for Christmas, rather than using a sinking fund or a savings challenge. And this could be for travel, it could be for presents, more than likely it will be for Christmas gifts. I'm also saving all of the change that I get. I will use a Coinstar machine to turn those into Amazon gift cards and then purchase Christmas presents with that. But it's the dollars that we're counting now. So I'm going to get out the first binder here, which is the A through G's. And I have these trackers. Oops, the money got put in front instead of behind. I have these trackers that are available in my Etsy shop. Normally, my Etsy shop is currently closed when this video goes up because I'm in the process of moving, but it will be reopened soon, hopefully by the middle of March. So I'm going to take out the tracker and we'll count how many A-Bucks we have. Looks like there's 2 A-Bucks this month, and it looks like I've been using red. So there's 2 ways to use these trackers. You can either use them as $1 per letter, or each letter has 15 different lines in it for the font that I used, which is similar to the kind of font that you would see on our currency. And so you can fill in one at a time if you want to make it last a lot longer. But A-Bucks aren't terribly common here, so I'm just using 1 letter per dollar. So I will fill this one in because I have only 2 of them. Some of the others where I have multiples of, I'll just make a mark on it and then I'll come back and fill it in later. So there's also a little foot here. So 1, and this will be number 2. It's also possible if you're using these for different savings piles. I've left a line here at the bottom where you can note what you're saving that specific letter for. But for me, everything's going to Christmas. I'm just doing it this way because why not? It's interesting to see how the money moves around the country. These A-Bucks were, like I say, distributed in Boston, but I ended up with them here in the Seattle area. So $2 going in. So that brings us up to 6 with the 4 that I counted earlier, or that I showed earlier, rather. And then the tracker goes back inside, and we'll do the B-Bucks next. Okay, so now we've got the B-Bucks tracker, and there should be 8 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, and this week I'm adding 1, 2, 3, 4 B-Bucks. So that'll leave me with 12 total, so that gets me through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark on the tracker 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will come back in later and fill those in just so you're not watching me color badly, because as I always say, I'm just not good at coloring. I don't have the dexterity for it, nor do I really have the patience for it. But I will slide these back in, and actually these go in the back, the tracker in the front. So I'll put the money in first. I also have placeholders available for when I finish a card. So I would drop in a placeholder in place of 25 of these, or 15 if you're doing it the long way, where you're doing $15 per letter. So those are the B's. Now on to the C's. The C's we should have, let's see. So we should have 2 of them, and we do. And to the C's we're adding 1, 2, 3 C's. Okay, so that will put us to the end of the first row. 1, 2, 3. So these 5 C-Bucks are going back in. And then the tracker. And C's are Philadelphia, B's are New York City. So now it's on to the D-Bucks, and D's are Cleveland, Ohio. So we had quite a few D's this month. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 D-Bucks, so quite a lot of D-Bucks, all the way from Cleveland. So that is going to put me with 2 more full rows plus 1 down at the bottom. And I just want to make sure that I've got 10 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sure do. So now I've got 21. So this tracker is already almost completed. And if you'd asked me what the next one would be to finish after, of course, the L-Bucks, which is the most common by far, as I've said, I would not have picked these. I might have picked F's or G's, maybe the K's, but certainly not the D's, but that looks like it's how it's filling in. So we'll put all 21 D-Bucks back in, along with the tracker, and like I say, I will come back afterward and fill in the rest of those letters, but just in the interest of time, I'm not going to do that here. So now on to the E-Bucks, and in the E-Bucks I have 1, 2 E-Bucks, E's are not terribly common here either. E's come from Richmond, Virginia. And I have 2 in here already. So I'm going to have a total of 4. And we'll get that red pen back out. We'll mark off 2 here. And because the E is an intricate letter, I will leave it to fill in the rest of the way later. So the 4 E-bucks go back in, along with the tracker. All right, and then we have the F-bucks. 1, 2, 3. 3 more F-bucks. F's are Atlanta, Georgia, like I said earlier. So we should already have 5 in here. Adding 3 will make 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So just go 1, 2, 3. So a total of 8 F-bucks. I usually start shopping for Christmas around the middle of the year. Well, realistically, July, when Prime Day comes around. I take advantage of those sales when I can, and then I hold on to the gifts until the season of giving in winter. But I will spend out of here on Prime Day if I find something that is really a good gift for someone. So, all right, so that's the first binder done. So I'm going to set this aside, and we'll bring out the second binder, which is the G through L. And G-bucks are Chicago. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, just 2. Okay. So there should be 4 in here already, and there are, so it's going to be a total of 6. So 4, 5, 6. Oops. Make sure I show the intent to color that in when I come back around to fill everything in. So put the G-bucks back in, and the tracker. Okay, and then we'll move on to H. And the H I will fill in because I've only got the 1. I've got 2 in here. Yep, so 1 and 2. 1 more makes 3. H's are rare. This is St. Louis. Yep, St. Louis. So it's just not something that we see terribly often here. All right, so we'll fill in these H's. I think I had intended to use a different color each month, but then I just went for it with the red, so that's the way it's going to be, I think. And that's okay. Okay. So the H is filled in. I've got that allocated here. So we'll move on to the I's, which I don't have any of. And in fact, I don't have any in the envelope either. I's are another one that's just rare here. And I do think I is Minneapolis. So just not something we see very often. J is Kansas City. And I've got 2 J-bucks. None in the envelope, so these are going to be the first 2 J's. And what the heck, I'll fill them in just because there's only 2 and there's nothing on the tracker, so. Okay, there's J number 1. And here comes J number 2. All right. So 2 whole J-bucks going in. I suspect that I won't have placeholders for H's, I's, or J's by the time that Christmas comes around, but who knows? And at the end of the year, I will empty these and start all over for 2026. I don't know in 2026 if I'll use this money for Christmas again or for something entirely different. So there's the J's. Didn't get any K's this month, and I only had 1 last month. So that, like I say, is really unusual. And again, K is Dallas, Texas. And even though Dallas is quite a ways from Seattle, it is the second closest, other than L, which is San Francisco. So L's currently, oh, and I do have that 1 K-buck in there. So L's, currently I have 12, and just make sure they're all in there. And I might actually get a placeholder with the L's. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, so that's correct for what was already on the tracker. Probably not going to get a placeholder. So looks like we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So certainly we will get closer, but we're not quite there yet. But 6 more L-bucks going in. And that will bring me to 18. So we'll just mark this here on the tracker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So as I say, I will come back in and fill those in later. I'm not counting them all up just because I'm interested to see how much I'm able to set aside each month, or for the year rather. I think I have an idea that it's going to be somewhere around $300. I'm picturing about $25 a month in $1 bills that go unspent, but we'll see. So here are the placeholders, and I have some of them already, like this one is already marked for L. So when I get, well, this one's a $15, but I also have $25. Originally, I was doing L's as 15s when I was doing these last year, and I was saving up the L bucks for a leather jacket, and I was just putting them aside as I accumulated them, and I was marking them off as $15 per letter. But now that I'm doing the full letter, $1 per letter, I will probably only use the 25 placeholders, but I'll bring those out when it's time. So that is it for the binders. And then again, like I say, I'm setting aside the change, and I'll just show it here real quick. Any loose change that I get back or that I find, that's what it's looking like so far. I don't know how much money this is. I'm guessing it's around 40, 50 bucks. I don't have a specific goal in mind. It's just kind of whatever I end up with is whatever I will put toward Christmas when the time comes. I'll probably cash this in sometime around Thanksgiving. So I'll likely spend the $1 bills out of my Letterbucks challenges, but maybe not this, or maybe I'll do it the other way around. We'll see. I could always cash these in for a gift card for Prime Day if I find something that tickles my fancy, or it seems like it would be a good gift for somebody. So if you watched my videos last year, you know that Christmas tripped me up a little bit, but I hadn't been setting aside money for it and kind of got caught up in the frenzy there at the end. So I really want to avoid that this year, and this is the way that I've decided to do it. So I hope that you'll come back every month. I will have the same video, well, not the same video, but I'll have this same style of video going up where I count up, or at least allocate, all of the Letterbucks per letter, and then we'll see where we get to when the time comes for the holiday season. So thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Leave me a comment down below. And until I see you in the next one, which will probably be game night on Monday, take care.